Howdy, Mike McCoy here. Today I've got Mother with me.
Hello.
We're going to talk a little bit about that old molder out there that we bought years ago and why we no longer run it. We got that thing down in Georgia and brought it home, and immediately the first job it paid for itself. The second job we put it up, it crushed her thumb. And Mother's probably the toughest person I ever seen, and it laid her down for a minute. And she's got screws in her thumb now. What do you think of the molder?
I don't much care for it.
She don't like it at all.
I want to take it to Crusher really bad.
And she'll get to one of these days. It looks like nobody's going to buy the thing. But we'd contracted this big job for us of flooring. There's some doctors across the hill, and one of them was building a house, and we'd probably cut $10,000 worth of stuff to put in his house, and he wanted the poplar flooring to go throughout his house. And we'd made a deal on it. And it was getting close to the end of the year, and I figured, well, I'll just wait and let him pay me all at one time, for he'd paid me real good up until that time. So we started making flooring and everything, and it was all going good. And he called me one day and said, Mike, said, you might ought to check your machine. It looks like I'm going to have to sand this flooring. Well, I mean, you have to sand hardwood flooring, but I checked my machine, and I run him ever how much is in our house up there. It's about 700 feet. Took it over there, and his wife called, and she was just pissed off. Come and get this stuff. It won't work. It ain't what we want, blah, blah, blah. So I went over there. Sure enough, it wouldn't work. So I went in there to see what was going on. And this guy was a psychiatrist, and one of his patients was the one that was putting the flooring down. And the only way I'd ever seen flooring put down before was, you know, you run, and we was making 3 different widths too. 3s, 4s, and 5s. You know, you put down a run, and then you step out, you go in straight lines. Well, this guy had started at the corner, and he was a stair stepping it. And he was driving that stuff back in itself as much as 18 inches. And the tar paper on the floor, he was catching that tar paper, and there was places there's a good 1/4 inch that he'd caught that tar paper and drove it back and just nailed it down. And this had been drove back in itself, couldn't have been nailed, for there's no possible way to nail it. And I thought, oh my God, if I say that he ain't doing it right, it's gonna start a spitting contest, and I'll never get paid, and it'll just be terrible. So I went to him and I said, you tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. And he told me what I wanted. We cut it, took it over there. And I sent a bill with the last load. Well, we didn't get paid. And usually they bring the money the same day we took it. And we waited like a week. And I told Mary Ruth, I said, we better go over there and see what's going on. So we pull up, and he steps out on the porch, and you could tell he was pissed off when we stepped out there, for he had his arms folded. And he said, before I pay you, I'm going to get an expert to look at this to make sure you're not ripping me off. That's his first words. And I said, well, get whoever you want. I can sue them just as easy as I can sue you, for there's nothing wrong with this flooring. And I looked around at Mary Ruth, and I said, well, let's go. And then what did you say, Mother?
I said I wasn't ready to go. So me and him discussed it for a little while, and he said he was going to call the law on me. And I that's the first time I ever had anybody going to call the law on me. And I told him, go ahead. I said, you're stealing my lumber. I'll go out on the porch and sit and wait on them. So we discussed it a little more. We went out on the porch, and I would have slapped him off the porch, but I knowed he'd owned everything we had. And he's supposed to be a preacher too. So I asked him, I said, where do you preach at? He said, why do you want to know? I said, because I'll be there in the front row Sunday morning and tell them just how sorry you are. So needless to say, the next day, we got our money. So, you know.
Mother was mad. She was being gentle when she explained that. I've never seen a man talk to the way she talked to him. And the reason he was going to call the law on her, she made a step toward him, and I thought she was going to flog him. And I was thinking, oh God, if she whips him, I don't know what kind of trouble we're going to get into. But that's the story of the big molder.
I don't think I'd have made him a good patient. Matter of fact, I don't think he'd see me again. But but that's fine.
I think he was kind of scared of her. And I was kind of worried about what she was going to do to his fat ass that day, for she was mad. And she can talk real plain, you know, for a country girl. She can talk to where you can understand her when you get her upset, especially when her money's involved. But it's amazing the stunts these people try to pull just to hoodoo you out of your money. But we got paid, needless to say. And 6 or 8 months later, he called back just like nothing ever happened, but I wasn't fooled with him no more. So
I hope he's still got that flooring and thanks me every time he walks on it.
Well, so much for that. Talk at you later.
Have a good day.